All right. I haven't done one of these in a while. That doesn't feel like it. Well, yeah, just starting out just playing some Red Dead 2 again. Man, I enjoy this game. I honestly, confession, I have not beat it. I have not finished it. I would always get to just just a certain part of the game, and I just end up playing something else, or just move on to another game, and thinking I'll come back and try it out again, and then I just end up not doing it. And it's just so weird. I don't know what it is, but I just now I'm here, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give it another shot. I'm gonna try play this again and see where it goes. But it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun playing it. I don't think it's a bad game, but man, it is. There's so much in it. It is one of those games where they did such a good job that you could just enjoy yourself. Like even now, like this was made back on the PS4. It still looks great. Like I'm playing on the PlayStation 5 right now, but it still looks awesome. I still think it's so much fun. I have such a great time playing. So just man, I don't know. Maybe I'll finish it this time. I hope I can. I think I think some of it is when I first started playing it. It was already a little like it was still when it was new at the time. I just I don't know. For some reason I just didn't have the interest to commit that much time to, playing, and I don't know why. But now that I'm older, I can appreciate what they were trying to do with all the just the detail. The level of detail that Rockstar does, what they go into and how deep that they go. It's a reason why, everyone is looking forward to GTA 6. It's because of how much work that they put into their games. And here, this is an older game. They still did such a good job. And, I think a lot of us were hoping for a lot more, like more DLC or just, things that just stuff like that. But, just like some sort of something, and, this is me just hoping that, that when if and when they do a Red Dead 3, that I think something that I would like to see is to them go even further back in the timeline, and we would get to see the golden era of just the old west, the golden era of just being a gunslinger, because it seems it starts out with the first Red Dead one with John Marston. It was at the tail end, or pretty much the end, really, and the end of that era. And this one, it seems like it's just that section before the end of the era, and it's still kind of like deteriorating, pretty quickly. But I would like to see just that golden time, that golden era where it was, and like, cause they even the characters still like they'll talk about it, like how this golden era of the time where things were so much easier, and it's just it seems that their luck was really good, right before everything started to get industrialized and civilized, and you can't disappear as quickly, and it's something that it's so ever present in this game, and I would just like to see the golden era. I think that would be so much fun. You can follow this gang still. I think it would still be there's still stories to tell. Going back further in time to just that era where this gang was at its strongest. I think that would be really cool. Where it's just the prime time of just more robberies, more of these, more. That's personally what I would like to see. More of these just like big, jobs, robbing trains, robbing banks, just all that. Yeah, that's something that I like to do here is just the robberies with you put your mask up and just that you could just disappear. Nobody will know who you are. That you're not, you're just not recognized. I think this is just something I would like. I know we're following the story and these characters and who they are, which is again, I really enjoy. I'd like to see a custom character. personally in the main story. That's just me. I think I would be I think I would really enjoy that. Like my own custom character, it doesn't even have to continue on or anything. They could die at the end of the story or whatever. But my own custom character to where I think, create him and, just put him in the game and just follow these characters through their prime time of robbing banks. And it seems that this gang has gone through their share of people. People have come and gone, people who have left or who have died, and I think that would be really cool. It's just that's something I would like to see, just the prime time of these characters. That these is still it's still cool seeing them. Try to survive and try to live this cling into this way of life. But I think just that golden era for the West would be so much fun, and that's something. I mean, the customization itself just in this game is so awesome already of how what you can have Arthur wear and things like that. And I know it's not really. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that this. Rockstar hasn't really been. In their campaigns haven't been custom characters. It's always been their character that they've designed, and that's I'm still gonna play it. It's still, but I just think it would be really cool to have my own custom character in the game. Just a personal preference, really. I know you could do that in the online, but it's not the same. It's really not. It's not the same. It doesn't have the same feel to it. But I think it would be really cool. Be a really great addition to, just I doubt they're not gonna do it. I already know that. I know they're not gonna do that. I know they have their own ideas of what they want, and that's I don't even know if that may be something that's just outside their wheelhouse. That may not be something they'd be able to do, or I don't really know the ins and outs of that, how that would work. Because I know you could do it online, make your own custom character, how they look and dress and stuff. But as when you're talking about campaign, I don't really know. Just a wish list, not really, you know, I'm not. It's not a hill I'm gonna die on. I just understand it as it is. But I just think that would be so much fun. But this game still holds up, and it just goes to show you that when these developers take a long time to work on their games, like they hold up still. They still have this weight to it, and still great storytelling, and still memorable storytelling, and it's just been such an awesome ride that I'll just I'll get into that that just start feeling like watching westerns or something. I'll see some on YouTube or watch some of my on my own time, and just like, oh, what game really captures the West really well? This one. I think number two does it the best. As they have the other ones where Red Dead Revolver, a little bit more arcadey, a little bit more silly, and in its Western vibes. I don't know if you've played it, but it's definitely out there, and it's a little bit more silly and strange, but it's still pretty. It's an interesting game. I recommend watching someone play it, but then you get into Red Dead Redemption, with John Marston's, the telling of his, kind of the closing of his story and what he did, and again, you're at the tail end of it. The West is already pretty much it's on its last legs. It's like it's barely holding on by a thread by the time you get to step into his shoes, and then you get this one with just how it looks, just the scale of it, everything just looks amazing. I don't have any like I'm not backing him like, oh, this didn't hold this game. I think is going to hold up for a very long time, and if not, it just remain just in that. Like if there's a Hall of Fame for video games, this is definitely going in it. This definitely is a game that goes into that Hall of Fame because of the characters, the story, the gameplay. Even though it has that GTA clunk when it comes to gameplay, it's still fun. It's still cool, and just things that I enjoy or things that I'm looking forward to unlocking in the game. Like the repeaters or better, other revolvers and things like that, and I personally, I would like, just, I'm only playing on console. I don't have any mods or anything like that for this, but I'd like more, like that's why I wanted a third one because I want more of this game. I want more guns. I want more customization. I want, just more. Why not? They did such a good job. Like you could customize your saddles, you could customize just about everything, and except your character. But that is what it is. Arthur Morgan is such a strong character, such an awesome character. I didn't think that when I first saw the trailers for Red Dead 2, I was a little like, oh, I don't know, a new character. I don't know how. I mean, John Marston was so cool. Like he was so memorable. I had so much fun with his character. I can't believe they're changing that. And I was like, I remember seeing him in the trailers. I'm like, who is this dude? Like, I was indifferent about it. I didn't hate it, that he was a new character, but I didn't mind it either. And so I was like, all right, let's give him a chance. And he turns out to be one of the best characters that has ever been in a western, and he's so memorable. He's flawed, yet he can be honorable, and he just has just this commitment to the game and the lifestyle that everyone loves to see and wants to see more of. And I'm sure maybe if they do a third one, I they could stick with the tradition of having a whole new character, or just who knows, like where they have the whole new character, and then at the end of that you get to be Arthur, which would be what they pretty much did in this one, and which would be cool. And then I think that's probably what they would end up doing, right? And it's so cool to be, to be in this old west game. There, when I think about western games, there are a few out there. There's Gun, then you have the Red Dead series, Red Dead Revolver. I'm sure there's more. Just other little. I remember playing. Man, there was this other arcadey one, Call of Juarez. Yeah, Call of Juarez. Call of Juarez. Call of Juarez. Yeah, that one. And they didn't made an arcade version of, like, not an arcade one, but I remember it was released on the Xbox Live Arcade, and it was awesome. You got to see like the story of this bounty hunter, and how he met all these legendary gunslingers, and it was just a cool story, and it was a fun gameplay. I think westerns just they have just memorable guns and memorable gameplay. Old west duels, and just quick draw. It's just such an interesting era that even like I think it's something that Hollywood has covered very well, is the old west, and it's done well. Old westerns have been around forever, so at this point, it's just something Hollywood has done extremely well. And I think that I'd like to see more games, modern, not modern like not in the bad way, for modern audiences. Not like that. Just more of them now with just and there's some out there, but they're always the Western games that I've seen have always had like it's like a supernatural like twist game. It's in the West, but there's like there's a lot of like magic and zombies and stuff, and it's just like okay, I get it, and very just has that real take to it that makes it enjoyable for people like me who just enjoy it. We enjoy the westerns, we enjoy the era, we enjoy the hats, the coats, the boots, the horses, the six shooters and the shotguns, the double barrels, and it's just it's such a cool time, and I think they did a good job with this. The customization and the guns, like I just looking at it again, I'm like, man, they had so much. It's expensive. That's something I remember just looking at. I'm like, man, everything's so expensive, man. It's like it's cost like $200. I mean, it's a deal nowadays, but back then, like I was just like, I only got like 20. And seeing these like just these guns and like just how much fun it is, and I just would like to see just other developers give it their shot, give westerns a real shot out there. Rockstar can't be the only one who's trying it, but if they are, it's still going to be awesome. I think it's still great and still definitely worth it. and still worth the time and effort to, I think, to play. You know, for me, like I try, I try to get through these games before the game really, like, even like at this point in the game, it still hasn't opened up completely. I'm only about, I don't know, 3 hours in. There's still a lot of locked things. You know, you got the gun things are still, you know, a lot of guns are locked. You know, still, and that's the one thing I didn't like. I was like, man, if I could just scrape up the money now, I'd love to have these guns, but maybe it's because there's just not too many of them. They didn't want us getting access to all of them at once, giving us, I don't know, you know, but it is what it is. They had their reasons for locking all these behind the story, and I don't know if there's like I don't think there's a new game plus. I really don't think that's something in this, and but again, I wouldn't know because I haven't beaten it yet. I think it's just it sucks that once the ending was spoiled for me, I don't think I was so angry. I was like, I didn't want to play this. At the time, I was like just upset, you know. But you know, something I've learned to do nowadays is, so it just kind of sucks nowadays. It's when these games come out that I want to play, I have to avoid them completely. I stay off of Instagram Reels. I almost make an effort not to follow gaming things online because of that, because of just the spoilers for new games, and it kind of sucks, you know. But it is what it's just something you gotta do, especially for a game that I really want to play. I'm like I have to stay away from these spoilers because it's just man, they'll just like throw it in your face right in the title. Like this happens, this person dies, this betrayal. And I'm like, come on, like come on, I have no idea. And that's something I just never really enjoyed about the internet. I'm sure no one really enjoys being spoiled in certain things, but you know, especially with just something new, and then you like a couple days later, someone sank like all the hours into it, and they're like, "Oh wow, this thing happened. This guy betrayed us. That's crazy." And it's like, why would you put that in the title? It's happened. It's gotta. I'm not the only one. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people, but you know, but back when this came out, I was just I know the shorts and reels weren't really a thing when this first dropped, but I just remember seeing like just the YouTube videos and about it. And I'm like, yeah, man, like they just like it has like the YouTuber like crying at the in the picture, and then like it just shows the ending. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I just like right in the front and center, and I'm like, this is crazy, but you know, it's just so something I've learned to do is like, especially nowadays, I'll just stay off the internet. I was like, it's just a game I want to play. I make sure to not like to really, you know, not interested in anything about that news. I'm very specific about who I watch, what YouTubers I watch for reviews and stuff, and really try to keep my my shorts or whatever TikTok feed really clear of a lot of that stuff because it'll hit you in the face for just 2 seconds. But that's something that ruined this game for me is just spoilers, and I was just I don't know. Hey, if that's happened to you, man, if you've been scrolling through it for a game and they just did a spoilers, it's you know, did it I guess that's a question I'll ask. Have you ever, you know, just, you know, had a game that you were looking forward to that maybe you just couldn't pick up yet, and then it was just spoiled for you by YouTube Shorts or a YouTuber or TikTok? Is there something like that that has happened to you? Did you finish the game, or did you just quit? You know, or you're just like, all right, I'm done. I mean, some people might finish it, but for me, I was like, all right, I'm out. That's it for me. Yeah, just if you haven't played Red Dead, it's even nowadays, it's still worth a look through. 2026, you know, just it's definitely it's gotta be. If you haven't gotten to it yet, you gotta do it. And I really am trying to commit myself to finishing this game, but I want to experience the game as well. I think at this point, since I already know how it ends, I already know what happens to the characters, and know how most of it works. At this point, I think I want to just go through and really like experience a lot of the quests, the side quests, and things like that, and really dig in deep to those parts of the game, and really try so to take my time on this one, not try to not try to rush through and complete the story as fast as possible, which is normally how I play games. I don't know why. Where I guess some stories are just so gripping that you just, for me, I'm just like, whoa, I gotta see how this story ends, because I'm just like, I always feel so pressured. You know, I'm like, I gotta go save that person. I gotta save them. They're still, they're still in the end. Like they're still like a prisoner. I gotta go help them. Like and so I'll rush through the story and like burn through it, and I'll just be like, I don't know, ignore all the side quests. It's just something that I do, but and then I always try to go back at some point and really try to enjoy the side quests and things like that, and enjoy the story fully. And it always gives me a reason to go back. I think too, where if I do all the side quests and then all of them, and then the main story, I think like once I finish it, it's like one of those things where I just put it down and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. But I think a part of me is like, well, if I don't do the side quests, then I have something new to come back to, because I haven't seen videos on, watch people play this or anything, and 100% it or anything like that. So for me, just like it's like a treat, to go back and see like the depth and the stories and how cool they are, and the side quests and how much fun they are, and like me seeing like, wow, I could see why people enjoyed it so much more than when I had originally played. And I get that that's probably a good reason to do the side quests first, is so that you can enjoy the game more. I don't know, but the main stories just always grip me, and like for this one, I'm like, do we ever go back to Blackwater and pick up that money? Do we ever get it? And of course, all my questions were answered by one, one picture. I was like, this is, it is what it is. And some questions I don't really remember, or and I think that's probably like what's a really fun part too, is when you look at a game that you haven't really seen a lot of videos on, and it's like a gamble nowadays, to where you you gotta weigh whether or not it's worth watching videos and reviews on, because you don't want anything spoiled for you by story or gameplay elements. I don't think anybody really does that nowadays, to where they just don't watch anything on a game and they truly step into it and not know anything about it. And it's really changed the gaming landscape of how things work, and it's something that you can get burned a lot by doing that, to where you are like, oh, I don't want to watch anything on this game, I don't want to see anything on it, and I don't want to watch reviews because I'm really looking forward to it and I want to play it and I think it's going to be awesome. And then you buy the game and you're just like, man, this game's terrible. Not that just you're like, man, I can't believe it. And then you see all the review scores for it, you see everything happening, and you're just like, no, I'm remembering now what game I did that for, and I felt, you just end up feeling betrayed. So this was, normally like I try to watch reviews at least with no spoilers, that way I could see it, because it's just, going into a game fresh is just such a, like you're gambling money pretty much, on whether or not you're going to enjoy the return or not. And it was a long time ago. I was so looking forward to Aliens Colonial Marines. I was so looking forward to this game, and then like as soon as it dropped, all the reviewers, everyone hated this game, and they just had so much problems. It just wasn't good, and I was so bummed out, because I enjoy those games, and I just at the time couldn't find the time or money just to want to commit to it and really play And so just like I was so bummed out, because I was watching, get development videos and stuff like that, and then you watch a review and then you're just like, man, this just totally spoils it. But then it just saves you money in the end when you watch reviewers do these things. That's why it's so popular nowadays that we have reviewers, because of the amount of times that people have been burned by this industry. We try to be really careful of what we spend our money on nowadays, and it has its benefits, and it's worth it. And if you ever see this game on sale, Red Dead 2, you should pick it up. If you just see it, it's definitely worth it. If you're looking for something, to really sink your teeth into, this game will do it for you. This has everything that you would want in a Western. If you're a fan of Westerns, really, you have to be a big fan of Westerns to really dive deep into this game, because with its gameplay, it's Grand Theft Auto gameplay in Western. So if you don't enjoy that, the gameplay does a good job of allowing you to experience this world, but it does have clunkiness to it. It's a little weird. It feels a little strange, and I'm just playing this raw on the PlayStation, so it does feel that, you do feel that clunk when it comes to it, but it's still like a great game. It's still fun. It has its drawbacks, but though they did such a good job, just the cinematics, the stories, the voice acting, everything, the environment, and the characters, all just so much fun, And then nowadays, if you just haven't picked it up here in 2026 and haven't played it, and you're a fan of Westerns, and you don't mind the Rockstar clunk when it comes to their gameplay and shooting mechanics and stuff, this is the game to get, and it's so much fun, and it always scratches that itch, when you're like, I gotta get into a Western game. This is the game to get into. You just watched some Western movies, or you saw a lot of it, and you're like, man, I could really use a Western game. This game should be like the only game it should go back to, because it has it all, and it's so much fun. So what's a game that you go back to and revisit and have as much fun as you did the first time? Just let me know. Just let me know down in the comments. All right, so that's just pretty much wraps it up for me and this in this game right now, this journey. I might still play it some more. I'm really actually kind of itching to get back, just taking a little break. So I think I might actually, hopefully I can finish it this time. But that's about it for me in this video. But I appreciate you taking your time and watching it, and watching it to the end. So, but all right, I'll see you.